So 3 months ago, I met this Ukrainian model on the streets. We talked for a little bit, exchanged numbers, and continued texting. Now, obviously, she was very beautiful and attractive, but in the initial conversation, I wasn't really convinced if I liked her as a person. And as we kept texting over the phone, my attraction slowly started dropping because she didn't seem particularly interesting. However, she seemed pretty keen, and she was sending me quite revealing photos of her in a swimsuit and even suggesting to meet up. However, I politely told her that I didn't really feel a good vibe between us and left it at that. Now, a lot of guys might see this and think, why did you do that? Why wouldn't you just go and sleep with her? Why would you reject a date with a Ukrainian model? Are you crazy, or are you just trying to be really cool? Why would you even do that? So in this video, I'm going to talk about 2 main reasons why I did that. And none of the reasons are me trying to be cool or me trying to make a point. I actually had very logical reasons why I wanted to do this. Also, I don't mean anything disrespectful to the girl. She might be a better fit for someone else. So the first reason I rejected a date with her is because of the opportunity cost. So when you start out dating, you probably don't have a lot of options. You don't have a lot of dates. But I've been doing this for 10 years. I've gotten to the point where I can get quite a lot of dates with fairly attractive women. So for me to actually go on a date with a girl that I don't like that much just because she's physically attractive, there's quite a lot of opportunity cost, because I could be spending that time and that evening going out there and meeting other women that I might be more attracted to physically and, most importantly, emotionally. And this is the nice thing what happens when you improve your confidence, your flirting abilities, and you get a bunch of options, that your opportunity cost actually becomes higher, because you know that if you spend 1 or 2 hours going out there and meeting other women, you'll probably find someone who is a much better fit for you, and you can date them. And if you can choose between dating someone who you like more or like less, which one are you going to choose? Obviously, you're going to choose this person. However, in the beginning, when you do real life approaches, you might be going for weeks and not being able to get any dates. But if you get good at this, you can get a date in half an hour, which again is the reason why I'm such a huge proponent of this, is that when you get good, you have the privilege to make these kind of decisions. And the reason number 2 is standards and filtering. So most guys, quite frankly, have very low standards when it comes to meeting women. Now, some guys date women that they like physically, but they don't like emotionally, and some guys' standards are even lower, and they date women that not only they don't like emotionally, but they also don't find them physically attractive. But because of their fear of being alone and because of their scarcity mindset, they go on a date anyways. And that's not only disrespectful to yourself, but also to the girl, because she thinks that you like her, but in reality, you're just afraid to be alone and you're afraid to tell her no. Now, why is this such an important concept? Women qualify men all the time. This is why if a woman talks to a guy and the guy gets her phone number, it doesn't mean that the women will go on a date with them. Women will actually think, do I like this guy? Is he a cool guy? Do I want to spend time with him? They're actually going to think and consider real hard. Even though they have the opportunity to go on a date with a guy, they probably will reject it because they have, again, loads of options. They have really high standards. But what do the guys do? If they have a date that they have lined up, it's very hard to say no, because most guys don't really qualify. If they have a date, they'll just take the date. But when you have this attitude, the girls can feel this. They can feel that you're actually not qualifying them, and you'll just go on a date with them because they're pretty or because you're just afraid to be lonely. This is why when I go talk to a girl, my mindset is, okay, she might be an attractive girl, but I'm generally trying to look in the conversation if I like her or I don't like her. I'm genuinely trying to qualify, not as a manipulation technique, but actually seeing if I like this girl or not. And girls can feel this. They can feel when you have this attitude of, hey, obviously you're pretty, but what else do you have going on besides that? Because that is the most important thing. And when girls can feel that you truly qualify them, they actually feel more attracted, because then they know that you're not asking every girl out and you're not going out with every girl that says yes to you. Because if you go out with every girl that says yes to you, that doesn't say much about your standards and doesn't say much about you having options. The thing is that girls want to date guys who actually have high standards. They love living up to those standards, and they love being chosen. And it's for this exact reason that I adopt this mentality. And if I don't really like the girl, no matter how attractive she is, I tell her no. Now, all this might sound great, but you're thinking, okay, but what does it mean for me because I don't have any dates? In my opinion, I don't think you should adopt this mentality right from the get-go. So what I would advise you to do is the same thing as in business and sales. Let's say you start a new company and you have a product, and people are booking on a calendar with you, and then you try to advertise that product. If you get 0 calls and no one is booking on your calendar, you're not gonna qualify super hard. You're probably gonna talk to every person that books in your calendar, even if they're not the perfect fit, because you need to get some practice and you just need to get a general feeling of what is a good client and what is a bad client, because you just don't know in the beginning. And then as you start to get more and more calls, then you can add some filtering options, and you can only jump on the calls with people who are really qualified. Same thing in dating. If you're having no dates for weeks, then if the girl is attractive, just go on a date with her. If you're not sure if you really like the girl, just go on a date with her. Unless there are some clear red flags, I would just advise you to date as many women as you possibly can. Because again, you also need to understand what girls you even like, because in the beginning, when you don't have much experience, you're not going to understand what girls you like. So you need to improve your flirting abilities, your confidence, so you can get the options. And then once you have the options, then you can start filtering and date women that you only really like. Essentially, you earn your right to be picky, but you cannot be picky from the get-go. Because if you are, what ends up happening is you are very picky, but then also no girls want to date you, and then you just end up being alone. And this is what a lot of guys tell me when I ask them, why haven't you dated girls? And they tell me, yeah, I mean, I don't really like any of them. So you cannot use this as an excuse to not date. You need to earn the right to be picky. You can only really do this when you're already having quite a lot of dates. Otherwise, you risk remaining lonely for a very long time. So these were the reasons why I actually turned down the date for a Ukrainian model. I didn't do this for a YouTube video. I didn't do this to seem cool. I did this because it was in my best interest to do this, and also in the girl's best interest to do this as well. I know when I adopt this mentality, I can use this time to meet other girls that I like even more, and I can have this qualifying attitude that actually makes girls even more attracted to me in the long term. Lastly, if you've enjoyed this video and if you've enjoyed me being your wingman, on this channel we have something that's called Wingman's Pact. So as your wingman, I'm giving you valuable advice. What I would like you to do is to support this channel under the Wingman's Pact so I can keep making these videos. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.